What's up, V2 crew? This is Unknown here, and we're gonna do a little video. I didn't know if it should be Trophy Tales, probably not, but I'm gonna talk about the, I guess, downfall, if you will, about guides for trophy and achievement hunting games. Now, this is not all guides and not all guide writers, so don't be like, oh, but these guides are so good. Like, that's not what I'm trying to get at here. Just stick with me. Stick with me. So I saw a shift over the many years where I was trophy hunting, where it was a different shift in guide culture, at least a lot for the games that I was playing. I didn't really play a ton of big AAA games. I know those guides were usually more extensive. I mean, they were more popular games, and people would get the games early, like big YouTubers and stuff, content creators, to make guides for them. Stuff like, I don't know, God of War and Assassin's Creed sort of caliber things. But what I'm trying to get at is more so the I don't know, just the general culture of like trying to get guides out as fast as possible, and the quality of these guides. Granted, the quality of the games the guys were covering a lot lower, but that's kind of ties into it. But the thing I'm trying to get across, I guess, is with the shift in how many just fast plats and things, there's been that aspect where people just want more and more numbers, and I guess it's kind of similar in guides. They were more rushed to get out and things. Now back in the day, it was like every single game, every guide was like super extensive, like really well done, like no errors whatsoever. And like I said, pretty much every game back in the day was quite more meaty, more meaningful. You had to do a lot more for the trophies or achievements. Now it just seems, and I haven't really been trophy hunting for a year now, but even right before I left, it just seemed like everyone was just, all right, let me do a 5 minute run of this game, record it on YouTube, call it a trophy guide, call it an achievement guide, you know? And then even with the written ones, there would be errors in them. And a lot of them would be less detailed. Um, and like I said, don't get me wrong, there were still ones that are very, very detailed. But they're also not too much for newer games. Usually they're kind of a little bit older. I definitely noticed that as well. And it was kind of interesting because I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, well, the plats are coming quicker and the guides are coming quicker. So this is like somewhat of a result of that. But then it's also going to be somewhat a result of just the competition in general, too, I think. Just trying to get the guides out as fast as possible. And the thing with a lot of these guides, too, it's not even like they took that much effort to make. Now, don't get like butthurt if you're a guide writer and this is offensive, but um, a lot of it was not really much work on the guide writer, because a lot of these games would come out on Steam prior, so it was like you already knew what to do. So you could just record yourself playing the game or just taking that guide and mixing up a few words. And also, too, there was for visual novels, for example, there would be guides already, like in Japanese, like on Japanese sites, and then you would just number, like literally just take that and put numbers to it. Like this is choice one, this is choice two, and call it a guide. Like, I don't know. It just, I mean, I guess it was some work, but it's not too much. You're kind of just using another guide, really. Um, and then, same with a lot of these other games, like I said, that have come out on Steam before. a lot of stuff like point and clicks and things like that, and games with puzzles in them. It's like you already knew what the solution was. Yeah, let me just record myself doing it and call it a trophy guide. Here you go, guys. And then also, too, a lot of these quote unquote guides that are just literally the person earning the platinum or 100% achievements. Like, you don't even need to watch it. Like, all you have to do is basically play 3 levels, and then you just get all the trophies or achievements anyway because they're all just naturally gonna unlocked. Why do you need a guide for that? Like, what's the reason? What's the point? You know? I think too a lot of games don't require a guide as much. A lot of the trophies and achievements are just getting easier and easier and just pretty self-explanatory and things. Now, collectible guides, I think also too declined a little bit in terms of quality. Near the end, I wasn't really playing games that had like a ton of collectibles because that was kind of making me. I wasn't enjoying doing that. Games where you would have to follow a guide, and then like if the game had trackable collectibles, like you could see it on a map or something, you just really wouldn't need a guide for it anyway. Yeah, I think guides were a lot more detailed. People took a lot more time with them. And this is, like I said, not only the 5 minute, let me run through this platinum and call it a guide sort of deal, but also like the written ones. I mean, even ones that were like 100-hour games would have errors in them or just not be very optimal in terms of strategies it would tell you. Now, granted, those are really big games, so you can't really, I guess, fault too much if there's a mistake or two. Like the person took the time to plat that game and make that big guide, and like their errors per time spent, not is going to be a pretty small number. I guess I should say pretty small percentage. So I guess props to those. I really respect those people that wrote those guides for like those 100-hour JRPGs that had tons of missable collectibles and things like that. I guess that's not really what I was trying to get at here. I was just trying to get at the point of it just seems like so many. Here's a guide for this 10-minute game. Here's a guide for this hour game, and you just don't even really need them in the end of the day. And they were just like rushed out like crazy, and then people just spamming them on websites trying to bolster their YouTubes and things. And I think too, it's I don't want to say we've been getting lazier as gamers. I think just the world has been getting kind of lazier in general, I think. But the fact that people are needing to use these guides where it's literally just watch the person run through a level for 5 minutes. I don't understand why, but I think that too is just feeding into the system that's causing the plethora of these quote unquote guides nowadays. And then same too with like visual novel guides and stuff, and just having a number that like who really needs that? Can't you just look at the first few characters and figure it out that way? Like, why do you need it to say one? Why can't you see that there's just a dashed line here and that works? I don't know. But then, like I said too, where a lot of these were coming from previous guides, it's almost like copyright, like plagiarism too, right? Because a lot of these are not quoting or saying, oh, um, original guide by so and so or anything like that. No, a lot of them are just making it seem like they figured the whole game out themselves, and now we're sharing it with you. And I think that happens a lot, like a lot, because like I said, a lot of these games that were on Steam first, a lot of times. I mean, not all the time, but a lot of times. And I know I've seen guides that just they must have used a different guide because it seemed very, very similar. So, and then the other thing that this causes too is the like I guess you could call them like middle tier difficulty ish games that aren't really like triple A's, but they're just like other indies that have lists that are just more of a headache to not only make a guide for, but then to play. And it's like the guide writers are just going to focus on the really quick guides more so, or the more extensive guides for quote unquote actual games, right? So then it kind of leaves in the middle all those games getting left out, and then they don't have guides, so people don't use them, and then actually probably less people play them then too, unfortunately. And then that just exasperates the system even more. So, anyways, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below on the matter of the quote unquote downfall of trophy and achievement guides. I guess we'll call it. It's not really. I mean, like I said, the shift in the games in general that got released, big impact onto this too. And then also just culture of people trying to compete with each other on social medias and stuff like that. Get the likes on their YouTubes, you know. And yeah. So with that being said, everybody, if you'd like to join the V2 crew, that would be awesome. Where we game on our own terms, spread the positivity, and encourage each other. Try to better ourselves, and not only games but in life, because focus on the important stuff too. And if gaming's not your job, don't make it a chore. And yeah, so everybody have a good night, good morning, enjoy your games. Thanks so much for watching. Spread the positivity. Game on your own terms. You do you and be your V2. Oh, and links in the description for Twitch and Discord and stuff, by the way. Alright, see you everybody.